It was just really cool how Echo Foxes did it because there's all these interdependencies, right? Dardoch is able to get such an advantage in the jungle because of the pushing lanes, because of the advantages gained not only by Fenix in the mid lane, but this range support in the bot lane who's also pushing you that lets you invade knowing you're going to have the support of your team. And sometimes if you can just take one piece of that away, the whole thing can fall apart. So we'll see if Clutch is looking to change up their picks and bans.
And will Olaf be this third and final ban? Will it be answered by a Skarner? Or is it going to be something that Clutch wants to pick up for themselves? LirA, though he's 2-2, has a 10 KDA on Olaf so far this split in his 4 games. So something he can definitely play. And he was known for the early aggressive junglers as well. It's actually his home play style. So curious to see if that's actually where they prioritize their time and effort. Talia off the table.
And it looks like still Echo Fox, they do not want to have anything to do with Xayah Rakan combination, yet the Caitlyn still on the board, possibly could find her way into the early stages of this pick ban as well.
And this is trying to force Echo Fox to ban Swain, right? If you don't ban Swain here, then I do think that Febiven's just going to snap that up, be able to take that away, and Swain is on the table, but you're also risking then giving away something like Caitlyn and Trundle and then getting an advantageous matchup on that side, but perhaps they're making the bet that Dardoch doesn't want to play the Trundle. Because if you go for something like an Olaf here anyway, and you get the Swain, you get the advantageous jungle matchup, like that is a really nice draft. So we'll see if Echo Fox is going to kind of play into those tendencies.
One thing you can also do, and we have seen teams take advantage of giving away Swain, then taking a roamer. Cassiopeia, not so much though. So this is actually the matchup that I talked about previously last weekend when everyone was picking Rise into Swain. I really do enjoy the Cassiopeia. I think it's a very good matchup specifically into Swain. Very high solo queue win rate. Gets to use her speed boost to avoid a lot of what Swain is trying to do, and has the damage to actually kill Swain, which not everyone can say.
Exactly, you can punch through the ultimate. It's also someone who can build Morellos pretty well and actually have that healing debuff, so a lot of nice options there. We also know that Swain does struggle with the wave clear.
In addition, if Swain tries to charge you, he runs face full into a stun, and it is fairly easy to hit the Cassiopeia ultimate on Swains that are trying to keep you in range.
This is a very interesting draft from Echo Fox. The early Camille, they expected the Swain. They said, okay, Camille's coming in as their early pick top lane after the 2 other tank bans, hoping that there's no answer for solo here.
It can also be a flex, right? We have to remember that, because one thing I would say is in the semifinals, I felt that Echo Fox in their Kazakhs game over-focused on trying to get this good jungle matchup, and then we're not actually able to exploit that Trundle, and Trundle ended up being more valuable. So this could again be Dardoch trying to take an aggressive jungler, and look to try to do something there, but not guaranteed to go to him. We know it is at least flexible.
Well, definitely going to see where the Camille goes then between top lane and the jungle matchup here. Echo Fox can answer a Caitlyn down to the bot lane. They can go for that same Varus did previously. It was a winning lane, and there's tons of range supports to pick up afterwards. If that was a winning formula, and I think it was, they can keep that going. Obviously, this draft does look different, and they're going to actually remove the option of the flex. The Olaf going to come in, despite the fact that Trundle was already showing, which, as you mentioned before, tends to be a pretty good matchup. Going to go for it anyway, but now it's a very top-focused matchup.
It's a top-focus. It's a very offensive lineup here from Echo Fox early on, and they won game 1 with Huni on a tank. Now they're going to go completely the other route here, try and get Olaf, super early game jungler, to get a Camille ahead. Like, Camille scales very well once you get the Trinity Force, and she has the potential to make plays all over the map. The biggest strength of that champion is the mobility that she can bring her damage with.
And based on how the draft is shaken up, Echo Fox get time to ban more top laners as well. They can remove another one for solo if they think there's another matchup he wants to play. Otherwise, Solo's got to figure out what he's going to do against Huni's Camille.
Yeah, that last top laner I would target is probably the Cho'Gath, because I think that Sion and Ornn are 2 of the other 3 most stable top lane tanks. And, Gnar is someone that Solo likes to pick a lot, but it's tough in that matchup.
It definitely is tough, because, I mean, one of the reasons that a Camille and Olaf can snowball so effectively is that Olaf obviously has this playstyle of a train just charging at you and trying to force you to lose damage by running away. Camille is going to lock you in with the Hextech ultimatum.
He's the tracks.
You're dead.
It's the tracks on the train. You can't escape.
We shall see if they're able to find people isolated, though, run them down, and get those kills before, trying to group up. Because Clutch Gaming have been very successful with the Swain pick in the past. So while this was, an Echo Fox strategy to give this over, it's definitely a dangerous one.
Will this be a Tahm Kench ban to unlock Thresh to make bigger picks? That has not been banned away this game. It is a pick that we have seen played for Adrian before. He's got 1 game on it here. Jhin will be the ban trying to remove more of these safer options from Altec. Ashe is the one everyone has jumped to mind here as the one you picked to survive, but I want to see what Altec will play.
But I mean, I think Clutch has already done a great job of kind of picking on some of the tendencies of Echo Fox, knowing that Dardoch doesn't want to play Trundle, so being able to get an advantageous matchup there. And if Altec is not willing to play Ashe, then you have again, kind of drafted them into a little bit of a corner. But it looks like we are going to see Ashe, and I do like this especially for Echo Fox because Adrian loves playing range supports, and I think Ashe plus a range support is so incredibly strong. It guarantees you the push, and once you have them under the turret, Volley plus someone like a Karma or a Nami can really deal a lot of punishment.
Also, you do have to worry about the Hakuho Thresh is still a possibility. Caitlyn plus Thresh has the ability to take advantage of a low mobility AD carry like Ashe. Not the case though. Again, right back to the Tahm Kench and insta-locking on Cho'Gath as well.
Yeah, that's what I kind of expected just because, where else are you going to go here for solo? He doesn't want to go carry versus carry against Huni. The two safer tanks are already off the table. Gnar is not an option in this matchup, so it makes a lot of sense. But because it was obvious to me, it should be obvious to Echo Fox, and they made the conscious decision to leave that unbanned and target the Morgana instead.
All right, so Tahm Kench, Caitlyn going to be the bot lane matchup yet again for Clutch Gaming. This time around, the Varus becomes Ashe, otherwise similar stuff here. Dardoch again with a great early game jungler, but the other solo lanes are different. Cho'Gath will be picked up into Camille, and I'm very curious to see if Echo Fox can play yet again another fast, aggressive game and get that 30-minute stomp.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching LirA very closely because it's definitely going to be difficult to navigate this one once again in the early game. There's a lot of potential, for the damage to get out of control on the side of Echo Fox. And Huni, the big reason everyone always points to him as the best top laner is he can display his skill on champions like Camille that have that skill expression. Lots of mobility, lots of damage. So if they do get him going, then he can be a playmaker.
He definitely can, but I will say, I think there's even more pressure on Echo Fox to end this game early when you're looking across the table from a Swain, Trundle, Cho'Gath frontline with backline damage coming from the Caitlyn. That feels hopeless late, so you better be winning early.
Best defense is a good offense is going to be their motto this game.
And Echo Fox has been all about offense for most of this season. Huni likes to go forward, and this is a comp built around him doing just that. Paying attention to the top set of the matchup here in this one. Game 2 about to be underway. Getting ourselves onto Summoner's Rift. Clutch Gaming down 0-1 in this series. Echo Fox hoping for a third-place finish in their first ever playoff run as an organization. They found a new lineup, and it has looked pretty good so far. Here we go with Game 2.
And we have mentioned Rift Rivals a number of times, but I do think for a team that has Worlds aspirations, for a team that wants to look further into the future, getting international experience is extremely valuable. So winning that slot can mean a better chance at doing well at Worlds, a better chance at competing with the best.
And this is a possible invade. Apollo did see him, puts the trinket down, and it will not be attacked thrice in time. So they know they're invading right up to that bottom side, and Hakuho should not be surprised either as another trinket comes down. They see Huni and co running away. They know there should be a trinket on top of their red buff. And Echo Fox gave them the courtesy of saying, yep, we've left your jungle.
This time around, though, the adaptation from Clutch was to have, Cho'Gath and Trundle move up into Fox's red quadrant there. They snuck a little ward in, so they're going to have some vision on that Raptor camp. And they don't want to let LirA get isolated into a single quadrant for the early game again, but Echo Fox are not done invading.
They found their stun, but there is no follow through, no extra gold gain, just a little bit of damage on Febiven. And his rune now on cooldown for 35 or so seconds. Blast Cone taken off. And they're going to find a re-engage, actually. LirA going to be slow. This is a 3-on-2. Make it a 3-on-3 as Febi shows up, but look at the health bar dropping. LirA forced to flash away. The flash is the chase, and now Febiven down to 300 health. Will they find more? The slow is in. The poison as well, forced to flash out. And what a great early game for Echo Fox.
The big reason everyone always invades with Olaf like this, because you can snowball. If you hit an axe, it's so difficult to get away, and LirA there gets a little bit too close. Now he has no flash either to get away with, and Dardoch once again gets to start out with the counter jungle, sealing away Clutch Gaming's blue buff.
Yeah, I mean, he could get triple buffed here. Febiven had to blow his flash and his TP level 1, which really does hurt you, especially if you were looking to go for a tier build on that early base.
Yeah, you can see that no hesitation there from Echo Fox. They have Cassiopeia poison, extra speed that they can chase with. They have Camille, huge long-range stun they can go with there. They're itching for this 3v3. And LirA definitely a bit of a mistake here in giving it to them. Blast Cone goes down. He didn't see them, but there you go. One axe hits, and in come the rest of the crew.
Yeah, I mean, the hookshot is just such a good follow-up, too. And Again, now LirA caught out.
Flashless, lots of damage coming through for Fenix. Lands the next haste. A couple more Twin Fangs. Means a red buff goes over to the mid lane. This could not have gone better for Echo Fox.
Phoenix, oh my goodness, 101 on the Cassiopeia already. This is gonna make life for Febiven very difficult. This is one of the most difficult matchups you can have for Swain in the mid lane, and he will be punished.
And now there's no chance of even really trading back, not only because the red buff autos are very impactful early on, but the health regen is actually so big, even if you do land poke on him. So it's gonna be full damage control here for Clutch, but LirA is going to be so insanely behind.
Yeah, he's the one who would try and do the damage control, and yet he's been set behind in the jungle. Still has no flash there on the Trundle, so definitely very, very dangerous situation. Meanwhile, on the top side, Solo is pushing in Huni in that matchup. Here we go, though. The offensive look there. They tried to punish Fenix, but he turns it right back around with him. Adrian with a very good roam. The bottom lane difference here.
Yeah.
He walks right up the river there on Nami, and allowing Cassiopeia to chase.
And you can see how much Fenix did so far in that first game of 13 KDA, and the most damage on his team. Did a lot of very good things into that one. 1,500 gold lead right now. Range support continuing to mean a pushing advantage down there, and it's 8 CS right now up for Altec as part of that one. Clutch Gaming once again have to find their way back into this one from a deficit. They had found some nice moves before, but this is a much starker start than the previous.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the jungle difference, we saw how impactful it was in the early stages last game. You know, Dardoch is level 5, and LirA is still level 2. Like, this is a sad state of affairs. When you're 3 levels down at level 4, at like 4 minutes, like, that's insane.
And another early game Ocean Drake, gonna add even more health and mana regeneration here, allowing those solo laners to have much better matchups. Dardoch finishes it off there, getting much lower with that Berserker's Rage and finishing off the Dragon.
He also did a great job actually just kind of power farming it out. He hasn't gone back to base yet, and he's going to go back with a really fat buy. He'll have the Predator boots. He has full lucidity with Predator and the Chilling Smite. That's so much early power.
And I would expect him to try and utilize that power, you know, maybe to get this top side going, because Fenix honestly has mid lane under control. He doesn't need any more help there. Maybe some extra wards so that they would see a gank coming, but even, you know, Clutch Gaming would have to be very worried about trying to go for one of those ganks. So Dardoch, yeah, has a very clear path to top side to try and get that Huni snowball going.
Not going to land this stun. Here comes Predator. Solo going to have to keep running through the slow. Rupture not going to land just yet. There's the blue smite, and there's the auto next coming in. Solo going to flash, but there's going to be more axes, more damage, and a kill comes through. Dardoch now on 2 kills. Trundle only gets a pillar and walks away.
Yeah, that is just so rough there for Solo. Tough to get away from the Olaf with the Chilling Smite, just running it down. They can honestly just dive LirA if he stays around. He's level 3. That is level 6 Huni now.
Yeah, he's easier to kill than the Cho'Gath even, because he also still doesn't have flash, so Dardoch's going to loop around.
Okay, Ward's going to see him, though, and LirA knows to be pretty well afraid as Solo TP's back. This will not be any kind of a secondary dive, but LirA, suffering through a 2-level deficit, has to somehow play for his own jungle, and that might be difficult as the damage comes across. There comes a leap, and there's nowhere to go, but he gets the kill first. At least it's going to be a trade as Swain managed to help courtesy of Vision of Empire, and now there could be a bit more of a re-engage, but Fenix inside the jungle. 6v5 going to find the stun as well. Hawkshot doesn't mean much of anything as the rest of the team come across. Adrian is here again, finds the heal, and Solo will lose his life. You have to believe Huni leaps across the skies and finds the 5th kill for Echo Fox.
Even with Huni missing a lot of hook shots here on the Camille, Adrian, the support Nami here with multiple roams, bigger map impact than the Tahm Kench. They pushing the lane in, he gets his roams off. They don't have to worry about Abyssal Voyage yet because he's not level 6. Here's Huni going over the wall, uses that Hextech ultimatum, but there was a red smite from Trundle here, and LirA was able to get the kill because of his purchase.
Yeah, the red smite plus Chomp stealing AD makes the Trundle dueling so powerful even from behind, as you saw there. And honestly, Adrian has been everywhere. So much credit to this guy being on the top side of the map at the right time. They're still up in farm on the bottom side too.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a roaming support, it's going to look very good with early game pressure.
That's a stun on Hakuho, and he's got, well, flash used, and Summoner Spell can make that a little bit faster, but he has not yet changed out to cleanse, so a prime target right now. Probably the last time you'll ever see an arrow be good against Tahm Kench. You expect him to change that pretty soon. Level 4 versus 6, and Dardoch says, get out of my jungle, courtesy of a nice pillar burns a flash, and now runs right back across, is immune to slows, immune to CC. 2/3 HP, still gets the Raptor camp to himself.
Yeah, I mean, that feels so bad when you're just getting invaded that heavily. You know, for LirA to even be able to catch up is so incredibly rough, and now he has no flash, so he knows, well, I guess that's Dardoch's red buff. I guess that's Dardoch's jungle. He doesn't get to really contest anything.
Yep, Dardoch definitely asserting his dominance. LirA gonna go try and pick up this blue buff. He is in vision.
Yep.
But no one is very close to come mess with. Oh, he's gonna hand it over.
Leash. Oh,
he's
no.
still level 4. He's also almost dead, by the way.
Oh, are they even gonna get it?
Dardoch's here!
Oh, hit it! Okay, they get the blue. Dardoch had no way of knowing the exact health on it, but he lands a slow and forces Febiven away.
I do, you know, advocate giving the blue buffs over to mid laners, but if your
Not in this
jungler is
situation.
level 4, you
Solo's
need the
dead.
bonus experience.
I think Solo's dead. I don't think he has anywhere to go. He's got no flash. He's grounded. Gets sent to your room, back to the fountain, and now Febiven, maybe an overdrive, a great pillar. Flash back in,
over!
lands the first kill, but they've also got the trade back on LirA. Now Febi stuck on a turret, looking for some damage towards Huni, some towards Fenix as he pulls aggro. Kites right back out, and there's nowhere left to go. They're going to get that kill under turret. Nicely played by Echo Fox, getting that dive 3-1.
They're snowballing this lead expertly with the extra pressure. Now it is a Camille with double buffs. They'll be able to knock over the extra turret here and get the first turret bonus as well.
And I'm fully in agreement, Kobe. Desperate times call for desperate measures. You need that experience. You need that gold. You are too far behind to be giving that over to your mid laner. And you can see they're just exploiting that so heavily. I mean, Febiven actually played that fight incredibly well, but he's way down in farm. You know, his jungler is not relevant at all. Solo getting dope. Febiven actually flashes over the Cassio ult here, it looks like, going right over top. As Fenix tries to come by, he does finish off LirA, but you know, it doesn't have enough damage to really win this.
Yeah, then the double solo laners are going to chase down Febiven under the turret. Fenix gets out of tower range, and they don't give over any extra gold.
And I gotta be pretty impressed with the bottom lane of Echo Fox right here. They're not specifically like getting a lot of kills themselves, but the fact that Altec is still up farm, despite the fact that Adrian has just left him alone twice to run across the map to do other things, is really impressive for a lane that was losing them games and is now actually a point of minor strength.
It definitely is, and it's also very telling in how much of an impact a Nami can have on a Tahm Kench lane, because Tahm Kench really cannot fight back. Your only hope is an all-in. That generally requires your jungler to show up, so when your jungler's way behind, what do? You basically strafe behind your AD carry and hope you can save him from something.
We're going to find a little bit more damage going across. The arrow will come through, and Hakuho still not on cleanse, means the bubble lands as well. Going to be able to pop the gray health, but the damage might just be too much. A trade back on Altec. The root is in, and they get a trade. That is the best Clutch could have hoped for. Their third kill on the board. That dive only went 1 for 1.
That's true. They have to have reasonable goals here as far as getting some sort of money for
Lower
themselves.
your expectations.
They were able to get a counter kill there, though, and it did go onto the Caitlyn. Clutch Gaming trying to funnel some money there, but Echo Fox returned.
Well, they don't quite get the slow as the flash comes through, and now the red spike doesn't mean much damage. Level 6 versus 8, 2 level difference remains here. LirA just trying to find ways to survive and keep the pressure from getting worse. But look at the advantages across the map. Look at the farm in jungle and the farm in mid lane. 40 CS at 11 minutes is freaking obnoxious.
Yeah, it's almost a 5,000 gold lead, only 11 minutes into the game. Snowballing with an Infernal Drake here for Echo Fox. This one is going to get very, very dangerous.
Yeah, it's pretty insane how behind they are, you know, and they're doing such a good job with this composition, and I think they'll be able to find picks very easily, you know, with Ashe Arrow, with Camille, and engages from the Olaf as well.
Yeah, especially, you know, Huni was able to get that Trinity Force at like 10 minutes on the Camille. His lane is now pushed in, and he does have a lot more freedom.
It also makes it so much easier when you're this far ahead, because you can pick off anyone. You can hard engage on the Cho'Gath. You can engage on the Trundle. It doesn't matter. You have so much gold, you just need to find fights.
And they might get another one soon enough. Up and down to about 500 health, must recall from the lane. Fenix not going for the dive as no one else is around. Just going to clear the waves, and that turret down to 1/3 HP could be a very early target here, as the top lane turret had already fallen a while ago for that first turret gold. Echo Fox could knock down more of the outers, and now Febiven without TP could be a target. Dardoch's come around. Adrian here as well. 3 versus 1. Tidal wave coming across. Absolutely nothing to do. The freest dive all game. 10-3 Echo Fox.
Yeah, he's not even going to bother using his ultimate there. Knows there's no hope of survival, and I mean, maybe it's early to say it, but I think Clutch is going to start thinking about Game 3 here pretty soon. Like, this is just too far behind.
Yeah, going to start thinking about some Olaf bans. That might be a good place to start.
Yeah.
You know, the early game power here for Dardoch, they've shown that they are going to be able to execute on it, and you don't have any more games left in the series if this one goes the way that it's looking.
And that's when it becomes really tough just strategically, because, you know, you have to really make the decision, okay, are we getting this far behind because of picks, or is it because of misplays? Is it because we're not protecting him enough with vision, right? You know, can you afford to go that one more time? You have to have a lot of confidence in your strategies.
A bit of damage now towards Dardoch, putting him down to about 1/3 means they've got some time of the red buff, but Fenix is still pretty healthy, and Adrian's got healing. So once again, the jungle belongs to EchoFox, no matter where on the map it is. And the red should be an easy handoff, and Dardoch says, no, it's actually mine, I deserve it. 3, 2, and 4, his gold lead about 2,000 over his opposite member. Jungle difference in this game, obviously quite big.
The leads are rough across the board. I mean, it's basically 2K in the top side. It's 2.3K in mid lane. It's basically 2K in the jungle. Like, the top side of the map is 6,000 gold ahead. Like, that's absurd at 13 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's really worth highlighting for EchoFox here, the coordination that they have had and the team play with which they have actually pulled off a lot of these early plays. Adrian's roaming, they keep talking about. Well, Febiven there, gonna have to blow his flash.
A lot of credit. A lot of credit to EchoFox, the team right now, as we watch a solo fight in the top side. 2-level lead here as well. Huni gonna find the slow. He's gonna dodge Rupture courtesy of his ultimate. Quick golf clap there from Kobe, and that's a solo kill with no worries at all. 4-0-3 in this top lane. EchoFox firing on all cylinders, all of their players playing to a very high level.
And Kobe started talking about how you have to be okay with taking worse and worse trades, so got his ultimate, you know, that's the first step. Camille ulti down, no problem.
That won't be back up when you respawn, absolutely.
I'm not sure at what point in the game that becomes a good trade.
I think we're getting there.
We'll keep our eyes open.
Oh, and another turret falls, and EchoFox find the solo turret up there as their third of the game. And yeah, we can watch that again. Hits 11, goes right for it.
Yeah, started the golf clap because, you know, during the untargetable flames here from Camille and the Hextech ultimatum, you want to be able to dodge big things. Rupture is very easy to dodge because you can know the timing, you see it on the ground in front of you, but well executed there by Huni. Nowhere for solo to go.
And honestly, Huni can go for that pretty much for the rest of the game, as long as you know where the rest of the members are on the map. If you see Trundle somewhere, you just go on the Cho'Gath. Solo is just way too far behind to really be able to compete when you're looking at, you know, Tiamat plus a Triforce against pieces of a Sunfire. That is, you know, desperate times there for the Cho'Gath.
I got to applaud EchoFox for bouncing back off of a very rough semifinal series. The back half of the split, they started losing more and more games. They lost their first place tiebreaker. They lost the only playoff series they ever played here as a team. But then bouncing back and looking among the best they ever have, and Huni again finding himself into a fight, and this is going to break out now as Solo will get themselves the Rupture, but he doesn't have any teammates close to nearby. He's going to have to flash the wall. Tidal Wave comes across for 2. The chasing for Fenix not quite going to get the kill, but now it's Hakuho who cleanses, pops the gray health, and just barely walks away. No casualties for Clutches, the best they could hope for, but bot lane turret falls. That one can't run away.
Riptail now spawned as well. This tower is not going to be able to get away from the charge.
Roar! Sound effects.
Very intimidating.
Thank you.
You can tell Phreak actually did the voiceovers for that.
Yeah, that's me. And as a tongue lash knocks out another caster minion, roar! That one actually less impressive. It was injured and does less damage that time around. Will fall to the might of Febiven, the Noxian Empire, and his turrets.
Still going to keep, I mean, you look at the team, they're still applying pressure while half of them are recalling. Fenix is up their position very aggressively because they have so much pressure on both of the side lanes. They've been pushing Clutch in on all sides.
And it's kind of interesting because this really has been somewhat the story of Huni when he's in North America. Dominant regular season, falls short in the semifinals,
get exactly third place.
Last the third place match. And this has been, you know, the third split where he's now in this third place match. Clutch still obviously very much in this series, but you know, EchoFox off to such a resounding start that it can sometimes make you question your preparation. It makes you wonder, you know, did you have the right read on the meta? Did you have the right read on picks and bans? Because things going into this game, I really loved Clutch's draft, but then everything just goes wrong at level 1. So do you just say, never mind, it was still a good draft, or do you start to doubt that?
Well, they're going to have to make changes somewhere, and it looks like draft will be a decent place to start. They have only got a couple more chances here. Infernal Drake gonna go down, and a few more minutes to maybe plan that draft, Azael.
Yeah, it's true. At this point, EchoFox can remove planning time from Coach D-Lim and the rest of the squad. Say, all right, don't run the analytics just yet. Let me knock down this Nexus. And this could be the second to last game here of this series. EchoFox now with this second Infernal Drake. We're going to keep the push going. LirA smites a small Krug. He's that desperate for XP. Still only level 9 here.
Good trade.
Yeah, this one.
Krug's down. Trade it for my smite. Solo. Traded with Ultimatum, and now Febiven wants in, but look how far back Huni can go! Gets away from the vision, and I don't think he's fast enough to chase us down. The wings don't actually make you move faster. And under the turret he goes. Phoenix finds one, and Febiven might not have a lot of places to go.
Yeah, he's got a gate. He can walk right back through the base gate.
Defensive pillar for LirA. And knock up now onto the turret, gonna find that stun. Cleanse on cooldown for a few more seconds. Chomp up, but here comes Dardoch. Finds one, finds two. Thank you very much under the turret. They're gonna find another one as Febiven will be poisoned, but just resilient enough. Stomachs through it.
Chug those potions, kids. Those will save you.
EchoFox just looking to close this one out. I mean, we're 18 minutes in. They're 14,000 gold ahead, basically. That is absolutely absurd. One of the most dominant early games I have ever seen.
And this has been kind of the story as a team, as you were talking about, Azael. You know, Huni shows up in North America. He crushes the regular season. We hear all about them just annihilating scrims, you know, destroying everybody. Very, very quick games, these 25-kill Nocturne games and stuff like that. And this is them actually performing on stage here in the third place match. One of these speed run type 5-on-5s that they're going to get.
And what vindication for a lot of these players here again. Altec and Adrian, who are getting flack for the last half of the split. Dardoch, who've been removed from so many teams for being too toxic. If you actually watched the dive with both Sixay and Rick Fox talking about his efforts in improving himself, being a better teammate, he has grown a lot this year and is having the series of his life.
And I think one of the really cool things that Rick Fox did actually bring up was that feeling that, hey, the community was kind of against them, the community criticism, really bringing the team together, making them feel like it's us versus them. That brought them and made them even more close-knit and partially enabled their success.
Definitely bonding together to prove the haters wrong.
And I gotta say, yeah, it's been quite the turnaround. Dardoch, best jungler of the split by majority vote. Of course, Metis was close behind him, but now leading into the third place match and being a hard carry, going for a Chad build as well. I am sure Captain Flowers is happy. A Black Cleaver and an Executioner's Calling join the Olaf item inventory. Just so many different axes and swords now in the build, and he's ready to chop things down. And now the dive, the arrows, not going to land any of the stuns, but Tidal Wave comes across, finds the two of them in the back line. The dive continues. Will they get themselves any kills as LirA heals up via the ultimate, looks for the re-engage. A nice two-person route as the damage tries to come through, but LirA gets just popped right away. Febiven going to fall for one more shot out of Phoenix. Has to trade targets, though. Apollo running out, finally does get the kill in the mid laner, 5 versus 3. Now down to 2 as Hakuho stuck inside the fountain, and Apollo is going to come crashing down. Here's the recall. Give it to Adrian. Let the support get the kill. He flashes, and it does not matter as Phoenix holds the aggro. One left alive. Into the base they go. 21 minutes on the Nexus turrets.
It's a massacre, and this is gonna put an end to it. The only one left alive is Hakuho to see the Nexus turrets fall.
When the Kench sits on the bench for this one, plays a quick tune, they're all sad as the Nexus falls. A 2-0 start. EchoFox one away from a clean sweep.
Match point for EchoFox, and it's hard to have a better game than that. I mean, right from the word go, they were looking extremely dominant, taking away the jungle from LirA so heavily. I mean, he was just miles behind. 4 minutes in, he was 3 levels down.
Level 1 invade, they immediately chase, get the first kill, get summoner spells, continue to play aggressively and punish. Really well done. And again, even though the spotlight has been all over here with EchoFox, we have to say there was the story of the bottom lane not showing up, and Adrian made huge improvements, and you have to say those roams on Nami were very, very important.
Yeah, they were really big, I think, to extending that, because had they got that mid lane kill, if he wasn't there, maybe the game looks different.
Right, LirA's death was a good play. They caught out Cassiopeia in the river, pillar behind. That could have been a kill. Wait, why is Nami suddenly here? Okay, yes, you think it's a fish. Of course, it'll be in the water. But I mean, just out of nowhere, suddenly you got the heal, you got the slow. You guys hate me.
I feel you.
I feel you. We're all in our natural habitat right now. Me making my co-casters cringe. It was just perfection. And yeah, I mean, love all around. Dardoch having, I think, an incredible incredible series, looking to be able to represent North America for the first time internationally, courtesy of a win here would mean they go to Rift Rivals. Okay, he'll still be in LA, so internationally is lofty, but still gets to fight up against Europe after that one if they can close it in the series. But for now, we're going to send it down to the analyst desk to break down that 2-0 start to the series.
Well, thank you very much, Phreak. But we only got 21 minutes of gameplay to break down there with the new fastest game of the split coming out of EchoFox in the third place match. What a crushing victory for them here over Clutch Gaming. And Mark, I know you have some big thoughts about Champion Select.
It's the same story about the Hakuho Thresh, but the Dardoch Olaf this time around. They could have taken it away. They already had Camille locked in. Why are you going for the Trundle instead of taking away that Olaf, which we've seen LirA perform on as well? It baffled me.
Of course, that pick comes through. Rick Fox, quite happy with the way the series is turning out as of yet. But the level 1 here just set EchoFox up for success.
And Six and I were talking about the first game that Dardoch had with his jungle start. And we're like, surely he couldn't do that again. And this one was better / worse for LirA, if you want to look at it like that. LirA didn't want to get fully 3 buffs, so he tried to invade red, but of course, EchoFox is going to be ready for it. And then Dardoch and the rest of Fox just never let him recover. Not even close.
Honestly, I feel like this whole series so far is just kind of like the jungle difference. I mean, I feel like LirA, picked Trundle and just said it's time to troll. So that's just how it feels right now.
So I have some stats that are not favorable for LirA, but also Dardoch did this to him in a lot of ways. The slowest someone has been to level 6 this year is this game. LirA, 10 minutes and 9 seconds for a jungle. The average is basically 3 minutes faster. And to make matters worse, the next worst time was LirA in the quarterfinals when TSM did this to Clutch with Olaf. So it is a bit of a systemic problem for Clutch, but it had never been this pronounced.
Yeah, I asked
this was the largest snowball we've seen.
Yeah, I asked what other junglers in NA do you think could do this? And Ja was like, just Dardoch. Stixxay had a different opinion. He thinks Reignover could do it, but
okay. Well, actually, I mean,
he did do a lot of early
Reignover. His pathing is absolutely phenomenal. But just to put a little more context on that 10:09 number and how drastic a lead it was, Camille in the top lane had a completed Triforce before LirA had his ultimate. I mean, that is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I don't think anyone would attack another jungler with kind of the ferocity with Dardoch does it when he's flashing over a Trundle pillar just to be like, I'm in your face. Like, get me out of your face. I dare you to do it.
All right, so Stixxay, here's my question. When a guy's in the zone like this, when Dardoch is playing like it doesn't matter what happens, he's going to win the matchup, how do you begin to control that? What is Clutch Gaming saying right now in their huddle to reframe for a run back of 3 games in a row?
Yeah, so I mean, it definitely looks like Dardoch is kind of in the zone, and I'm not sure if Clutch hasn't been punished by this before, and now it's just happening to them on stage. But I definitely think the first step they should take is just banning Olaf. I mean, he looks really comfortable on it, so I think they just ban the champion.
Step 1, get him off the champion that he's performing on. At least force him to do it on something else.
Yeah, we said the same thing after game 1 as well, because by and large, I do like their drafts, but clearly they cannot deal with EchoFox and this Olaf, and the comfort they feel on stage. I think that's the biggest thing. There is a shift from the LCS studio to a finals venue, and I don't think Clutch is handling that well at all. Game 1, they looked spooked. This game, no one helped LirA at all. LirA also made some really, really bad decisions, and EchoFox was there to punish all the way.
I think EchoFox, too, as a team, is teeing off the Olaf very well. It's not just Dardoch, 1v9, and you heard the casters talking about the Nami follow-up, the rest of the team follow. Huni was massive that game. Like we said, that Triforce. It was a complete team effort, but it is all keying off of what feels like Dardoch's Olaf.
Right, but at the end of the day, we're still looking at Clutch Gaming's drafts, barring the Trundle pick, which I know we have issues with this time around. The rest of the picks on the Rift look fairly good for Clutch. So 2 games in a row, they land with comfort, and yet they seem out of sorts. And so again, I think there's got to be some serious concerns when you're in that camp, especially if you're in David Lim's position saying, I'm setting you guys up. But now it's just about execution on the day.
Yeah, I think they're picking, EchoFox's spot lane is kind of just picking, like a different pick into Tahm Kench, and I think, again, maybe Clutch hasn't been punished like this before, playing versus Nami. And what happens is EchoFox bot lane is just getting through the lane phase over and over, while their top side, they have priority on every lane and jungle, and they're constantly just getting leads through that because Clutch just keeps making too many mistakes.
Yeah, it does feel like they're potentially over-prioritizing some of their favorite picks and then losing that, and you're getting 3 losing matchup, losing, you know, gracefully, plus a winning jungler, which then turns it to be not very graceful very quickly.
All right, so Fox goes back to blue side. No surprises here, as that's the side the teams have been electing for. But that essentially does dictate that Clutch needs to ban the Olaf because Echo Fox has shown they're willing to throw the priority towards it. So what ban do you drop, and where do you focus? Ignoring the Dardoch situation, I also want to know where Clutch needs to do more themselves.
Yeah, so get Hakuho off of Tahm Kench, put him on Thresh, or any more type of slightly aggressive champion, Alistair, something that can actually go in. But still, they need to be able to play defense, right? That is actually what they've done all year. They're not going to change in a week the way they play and suddenly out-improv Echo Fox in the mid-game. You need to ward where Dardoch is going to be as LirA, avoid him in the early game, and just go from there, because they haven't even done step 1 of not get blasted in the first 10 minutes yet. So that's the biggest thing for them.
Feels like a catch-22, though, right? We have this idea of the way you're going to beat Echo Fox, or what they need to return to is this safe play style where they can scale to late. Except Echo Fox just beat him in 21 minutes. I mean, you're not going to get to late game.
But you look at what LirA did. He's like, okay, they took my blue buff. What should I do? I'm going to pillar aggressively on the Cassiopeia with no bottom lane pressure and try and invade their blue. No, just take your red. Cut your losses, keep the game close, and then win late game. That's how they play, but it's not how they're playing.
Mark, in the coach's position here, you're sitting staring down the barrel of a 3-0. What are you saying to your players in Clutch Gaming to get them to relax, to approach it with a more methodical mindset?
Do you think I have an answer? Because I think the mentality question is very important, because we can talk about all these draft changes and you can be like, all right, well, let's ban the Olaf or something. But you have to think this team is shell-shocked a little bit, where it's like, we just lost the fastest game in the split on stage, the first time we're playing together like this. So you have to find a way to make sure that they are mentally prepared. That's something we were praising them for having such an advantage, and it's just not the case right now.
I mean, that was the fastest game of playoffs as well. Now, it is officially now. The previous fastest came in 2014, C9 over Curse, 22-11. So beating that by a minute, Echo Fox does here in Game 2. They're poised to end their split with a 3-0 sweep. We'll see if Clutch Gaming can extend the series when we come back.